They disowned their daughter the moment she walked through the front door with Michael, her black lover, holding her hand like it was the most natural thing in the world. The house she had grown up in, filled with memories of birthdays, school recitals, and Sunday dinners, suddenly felt like a stranger's home. Her parents, Mark and Catherine, stared at her with eyes full of disappointment, their words sharp, laced with anger and fear. "We cannot accept this," they said, the finality in their tone cutting deeper than any argument ever could. Julia, 24, felt her heart shatter, but she held onto Michael's hand anyway, hoping that love could survive what hate had sown. If you believe in kindness and second chances, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, because this story is about how even the deepest wounds can sometimes heal. Julia's new apartment in downtown Chicago was modest but filled with warmth. Michael had moved in with her a week before the confrontation at her parents' house, helping her unpack boxes and arranging their small space with care. It wasn't much, but to Julia, it was a sanctuary, a place where love wasn't judged by the color of the skin but by the purity of the heart. Still, the sting of her parents' rejection haunted her. She had grown up believing in unconditional love, only to realize that sometimes family love came with conditions too heavy to bear. Weeks passed, and Julia tried to move on. She threw herself into her work at a local nonprofit, helping children in underserved neighborhoods, seeking purpose amidst the pain. Michael, ever her rock, encouraged her, reminding her that the life they were building together was stronger than prejudice. Yet every holiday season, every Sunday morning, every moment that reminded her of the life she had lost tugged at her soul. Social media posts from her family, smiling together without her, pierced her heart like an invisible dagger. She would cry quietly in their apartment at night, hugging Michael as he whispered words of comfort, trying to fill the void left by her parents' absence. Despite the heartbreak, life had a strange way of balancing cruelty with grace. One chilly November morning, Julia received a call from her father's lawyer. She was confused and wary, unsure of what could possibly warrant a call after months of silence. The lawyer spoke in measured tones, explaining that her late grandmother, her mother's mother, had left an inheritance, an old estate in the suburbs, along with a substantial financial trust, entirely in Julia's name. It had been something her parents had never told her, a secret held tightly, perhaps in part because they doubted she would ever be worthy of it. Julia felt a rush of emotions she hadn't expected. Anger for being kept in the dark, sadness for the years of estrangement, and yet a spark of hope flickered within her, a realization that life had a way of giving when it was least expected. She called Michael, her voice trembling with excitement and disbelief, and together they decided to visit the estate. The house was grand but frozen in time, a relic of elegance and tradition. Julia wandered through the hallways, her fingers brushing over the polished wood and antique frames, imagining her grandmother walking these same corridors. She felt a sense of belonging that had nothing to do with her parents' approval, a belonging rooted in history, love, and the legacy of someone who had believed in her all along. Michael stood quietly by her side, his presence steady, his hand in hers. It was a moment of triumph, not of wealth, but of recognition, that love, kindness, and patience could carve a space in the world even when rejection had been harsh. Word of the inheritance inevitably reached her parents, and they arrived at the estate unannounced, shocked to see Julia not only thriving but radiant with a newfound confidence. The sight of her, standing with Michael, both of them smiling and unafraid, was a jolt. The anger in their eyes began to shift, replaced by disbelief and a hesitant longing. They saw that Julia had not crumbled under their rejection. She had grown stronger, more resilient, and even more compassionate. Over the following months, tentative bridges were built. Julia's parents struggled with their own pride and prejudices, but they began to recognize the depth of her choices and the integrity of her heart. She forgave them slowly, knowing that forgiveness was not about condoning their past behavior but about freeing herself from bitterness. She involved them in small ways, inviting them to family dinners at the estate, watching as old wounds began to soften with each shared meal, each quiet conversation, and each act of love that could not be ignored. Julia's story became a quiet lesson to everyone around her. She realized that love often requires courage, that the heart's strength is forged in the fires of adversity, and that sometimes the family we are born into is only part of the story. The family we create, the love we nurture, and the kindness we extend can be just as powerful. Michael, ever supportive, stood by her through the hardest days, reminding her that their bond had been tested and had emerged unbroken. Their relationship, once seen as a source of shame by others, became a testament to the transformative power of loyalty, respect, and unwavering love. Months later, sitting in the estate's sunlit garden, Julia reflected on everything she had endured. The pain of rejection, the struggle to find her place, and the eventual revelation of her grandmother's secret gift had shaped her into someone stronger, more compassionate, and infinitely more empathetic. She realized that life's challenges were often the instruments through which we discovered our truest selves, and as she watched Michael tending to the small vegetable patch they had planted together, she felt a deep, abiding sense of peace and gratitude. If this story touched your heart, please engage with the video, like, comment, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that love, patience, and forgiveness can change lives. Before you leave, take a moment to comment below about a time when kindness or second chances made a difference in your own life. Your stories inspire others just as Julia's story has inspired you. Julia's journey was a testament to resilience. The pain of being disowned for love had felt unbearable, yet through patience, courage, and unwavering belief in goodness, she not only reclaimed her place in the world but also inspired a family to grow beyond fear and prejudice. In the end, it wasn't the inheritance of money or property that mattered most. It was the inheritance of love, hope, and the courage to embrace life fully, regardless of the judgments of others. And in that inheritance, Julia found not just security, but the freedom to live authentically, to love without apology, and to forgive without reservation, a legacy far richer than any fortune.